Oh, looky, looky. Obama got caught out there with the fake birth paper, y'all. And this guy is dropping a little bit of flavor on it. I want y'all to pick up on it. Let's check it out without further ado.
Them. They are verifying that there is a birth record on file that has this information in it. Well, when you start to study the Hawaii statutes, you realize there are ways to amend a certificate that turns the real certificate into a sequestered record in another file, and the amended information now becomes the original birth document. And that could happen 54, 64, 100 years later. So what they're saying to us is, we're not validating that image, we're just validating some of the stuff in it. Legally, truthful answer, but also misleading, because you have no way to determine, was this an amended certificate? I want to jump real quick to the birth announcements that are in the paper. I contacted the microfilm company that has them. I have them in microfilm. There is an oddity. I will grant you this. There is an oddity. In that section of the paper, those birth records from one newspaper to another are completely identical in positioning. They're identical. And in the other sections of the paper, they're not. That honestly is suspicious to me. It truly is. But the other thing is, there's been no paper ever surface. No hard copy Arizona paper from the time period has ever surfaced. We can only go by the best evidence we have, and those look good. When I was in Washington 4 times, I went to the Library of Congress, checked those out. They're in there. But here's the problem with those. They don't tell you anything. Hawaii law says that the Department of Health in Hawaii must create a birth certificate merely on the representation from anyone that a birth has taken place. It doesn't tell you anything. Somebody just reported it. So let's give that benefit of the doubt. Let's say that's true. Now you run into Kapolani Medical Center. Kapolani Medical Center we visited. I would have rather been thrown out by the cops than at Kapolani Medical Center, because they told us to get out. They told us they're not going to deal with this. This is nothing that they have to do. We're a private organization, and we have no authority there, and we're not going to help you. Okay. We've gone to 2 places that could have cleared this issue up. I tried. Nobody would cooperate. We come back. We're still sitting here now with this document. We interviewed Johanna Ani twice. In both those interviews, I'm not going to go into the details of those, but I'm going to let you understand that Johanna Ani maintains that her birth certificate was in her possession since 1995 in her locked file cabinet, and the only time she took it out was at a request of a friend to show it to Jerry Corsi. Jerry Corsi does confirm he took possession of her document, but it was about 10 days after the release of the Obama certificate. Now, obviously, I'm not in Hawaii, and I can't pursue this any further. So, Johanna Ani is not a suspect. There's another woman, Mickey Booth, has been labeled a suspect. She was the friend. She's not a suspect. These people that go out and say these things should really watch what they're saying. Those people are not suspects. However, Johanna Ani is still an investigative lead as far as we are concerned, because I can't validate the rest of the story. But we're in possession of the document that is a source document as far as this is concerned. I am going to play that video one more time. I think I'm just going to play it one more time in its entirety. Then I'm just going to show you the conclusion in our video, and I'm going to turn this back over to Sheriff Arpaio. But what you're seeing here is the information is taken, the stamps were taken, the X's were taken, and I've got 2 different forensic examiners concurring that it's fake. It's a fabrication. This carries federal penalties. And understand one other thing. The state of Hawaii has done everything they can to stay away from validating that image. Oh, let me back up. I went and spoke with Secretary of State Bennett back when the ballot challenge was going on. And if I remember right, he was in that challenge before we even got involved. We had nothing to do with this. And I do believe he was trying to do the right thing. But he sent a number of letters back and forth, and they kept stonewalling him. And then he got a phone call. And according to him, from Hawaii, he was told how to reword his request. Well, what that does is that takes the request and puts it in the category of a validation of a birth event in lieu of issuing a certificate, which made it easier for them to validate it. And when you read these validations, you got to read through them. There's another validation out there, I think it was in a Mississippi court case, where in the validation, it even puts the White House website address in it. But you got to read what it says. They're not validating the image. They're validating the information. And we have no idea how that information got there. Simple to understand the dilemma, because the director of health previously says she saw the record in a bound volume sitting where it should be on a shelf. The incoming governor can't find it. And they look for it. And now they can't find it in this bound volume. Now they find it in the state archives, half typed, half written. Well, which was it? Was it in the bound volume? Or is it sitting in a pile of papers? And then all of a sudden, it mysteriously makes its way back to a bound volume. We have no idea what's on that birth certificate. We have no idea if there was a birth certificate. We have no idea if somebody just wrote something down and through some nice legal maneuvering created a birth event. We don't know. We just simply don't know. We don't know where Mr. Obama was born, nor that was not something we're here to find out. We don't know that. We don't know if he's a natural-born citizen or not. I don't think the country knows what the definition of that is anymore. That wasn't anything that we were pursuing. We're pursuing the document. So let me play this one more time for you, because it's getting late. I want to show you this evidence all over again, and I really want you to sit back now, think about what I just shared with you, and see how this comes.
From the state of Hawaii. According to the dates on the certificates, these births took place in Honolulu during the month of August in 1961, just 16 days apart.
Oh, looky. Obama birth paper was found out to be a fraud, as we see. Oh, yeah. It's about time they revealed that. But you notice it was revealed after the mat that took place where they were able to get away with it. Have anybody noticed that? You know, nothing was done entirely time because Obama was a pedophilia. We know that. He's also a LGBTQ clown. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so on. So we see Obama out there doing bullshit, as we see. So now we know for a fact that his birth paper was a fraudulent. The reason why we're going to say his birth paper was a fraudulent is for two reasons. One reason is, why would he hide his birth paper in all directions and all ways? Why would your birth paper match up to another person's birth paper in the exact stamp that, and the exact numbers and stuff that lines up exactly with the other document that they found? Simply to understand that question would be number two. And number three, why was there so much controversy around him? You know what I'm saying? What president you know does not want to prove his legitimacy as a natural-born citizen, to where it's left in limbo, as the guy is telling you, and in confusion as to the truth? That is impossible. So we know it's a fake. You see what I'm saying? So what they did was let this punk-ass faggot, I'm sorry to say it, in our government, and became the first LGBTQ couple in the White House. You know what I'm saying? And then anybody that challenged that or said anything about that, you know what I'm saying, either got killed, murdered, we should say, blackballed, and all types of other shit. Why was it so important for him to keep that a secret, to where you took out Joan Rivers? You know what I'm saying? For saying, oh, you know, that's the first LGBT couple. And as she was going in the building, next thing you know, she was gone in the next couple of days with all types of excuses as to why. You know what I'm saying? But we know what happened. And also, Obama have to answer for that little Chinese girl or Korean girl or whatever she was, probably Filipino, he kept walking around with that stupid white T-shirt on with the ripped-off face of a little white girl. You know what I'm saying? Wow, is it so? We must understand. This is very important now for us to pick up on these things. It ain't no time for us to sit here waiting to understand what took place and what not. Our job is to figure that out, and that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So I advise you to take a look at this document right here. Get a thumbs up on it. This document right here. Oh, they don't want you to get no thumbs up on it. You know what I'm saying? And so on. Hold on, people. We're going to get rid of that and get that. You know what I'm saying? Now we can give it a thumbs up. And there it is.
The birth certificate on the left belongs to Barack Obama. The birth certificate on the right belongs to Johanna Ani. After 5 years of intense investigation, which included consultation with one of America's most respected forensic document examiners and a team of European media forensic experts, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office has reached a conclusion utilizing forensic techniques both old and new. It is the opinion of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office that the birth certificate on your right belonging to Johanna Ani was in fact used as a source document in the digital creation of Barack Obama's long-form birth certificate. 9 points of forgery in which words, letters, and hand-placed date stamps had been digitally copied from the Ani long-form birth certificate and pasted onto Obama's long-form birth certificate. We'll look at the first 5 points of forgery together, since they were brought over from the ID document in one group.
Now you see it for yourself. Now watch carefully. Because I've seen
I
this.
really want that to sink in. These were taken as one group. That's why relationally they are proportionate to each other. That's a key factor here.
Because I've seen this procedure before. This procedure right here is not new based on this type of moving of a document from one to another. You know what I'm saying?
Now let's drop out the Ani document as a background and view that again.
Keep paying attention, people. I know you've seen this somewhere before. You know what I'm saying? This type of technique of matching documents and so on. It's very, very, look very carefully as to how well and how easy it's done. You know what I'm saying?
Now let's look at the date stamps in box 20 and 22. In this case, the stamps were brought over one at a time. But as we do this experiment, ask yourself, what are the odds that 2 stamps in 2 separate boxes, stamped by hand 16 days apart, would have the exact same angle in box 20 and the exact same angle in box 22? First, we'll look at the left stamp. Now the right stamp. It should be pointed out that these stamps were looked at by 2 separate document examiners who specialize in 2 separate forensic disciplines and who reside on 2 different continents. Both agreed that these angles are identical on both the Obama document and the Ani document. Let's watch that again without all of the background clutter.
Keep paying attention. Because I know you've seen this technique of forging documents before, because people probably do it on computers all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's the sad part. He used a computer to do it probably. You know what I'm saying? That was easy to trace because I would have tracked that down. Somewhere along the line, there got to be a trace line somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we let into our
It should be
government.
noted that Susan and Gretchen Nordijk were born 5 minutes from each other and have consecutive serial numbers. Therefore, their date stamps ostensibly would have been put on back to back. But as you can see, looking at the leftmost date stamps underlined in red and looking at the rightmost date stamps underlined in blue, there is no similarity in terms of the angle of the date stamps. How ironic that Barack Obama's birth certificate and Johanna Ani's birth certificate, which were stamped 16 days apart, are identical in angle according to two separate disciplines within the world of forensic document examination, and yet the Nordijk twins, born 5 minutes from each other, stamped back to back, don't show any similarity in angles. We've made a number of references to angles so far. The reason for that is if you're going to take an item off of one document and place it onto another, the angle is going to remain the same unless you intentionally alter it after you place it on the second document. Watch.
See? You see it for yourself? You see it?
Here's what we think we know about that. Whoever created this document wasn't thinking about angles or relationship to other things. That was the giveaway in the date stamps. What that is telling you is no matter where you place that date, its angle of trajectory will be identical. It will be the same unless you manually go in and change it. This was one of the things that began the free fall of this document collapsing upon itself. The position of words, by using a small x as the point of reference and dragging them all over, this individual wasn't thinking about their relational positions.
When you have two separate documents with two hand-placed date stamps at the same angles, it should be obvious that a forgery has taken place. For the next example, we'll need to zoom in a little bit.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
Now we are going to focus on boxes 6D.
Because we got to learn how to do this type of investigation at all times.
PDF. Both X's were taken directly from box 6D in the Ani long-form birth certificate.
Wow.
In fact, not only was the X pulled over, but the box itself was pulled over, and various parts of the line on top of the X were also pulled over, according to forensic document experts.
You see it? See the bullshit? This is what I'm talking about.
Those little X's, one of those X's was used twice.
It's a damn shame.
That's why they appear twice on the Obama certificate. It was the same X from only one box in the Hani certificate. What the document examiner Reed Hayes noticed was the X was above the box, but the ink was bleeding into the word on top of it. That's why they had to take the box, the X, and the word, because she couldn't separate it. So obviously, this document was a template of some sort, or a source. We're not entirely sure. I don't believe it was a template because of the positioning of these things. What they did on the date stamps, they didn't change the angles, but they just merely set them a little higher in the boxes. That was how they thought they were concealing it, but it doesn't change the angles. So I'm not sure what the document was. We know it's a source. We're a safe bet on that.
Oh, looky, Obama lost his natural born mind.
Next, we'll drop the Ani document out of the picture, except for the items that were used to create the Obama birth certificate.
You can't see everything clearly, but these are the documents and these are the guys that's been investigating this for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? So Obama is not a legitimate president. You know what I'm saying? Even though he might have had 8 years with creepy ass motherfucking thing, he's an Arab, he's or whatever the fuck he is, but he's not the president and will never be known as the president. And they're talking about they building monuments and shit and museums to Obama crooked faggot ass. You know what I'm saying? He is not the president of the United States, and he never was and never will be. So people need to start to boo this man off the stage.
Again.
Look, 9 points of forgery. 9 points of forgery. We need to boo. Anytime this man speaks in our country, you need to boo him off the stage. Do not give him a chance to speak, and don't listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. Don't even listen to him, because this is straight bullshittery in itself. And let's just be honest. Straight bullshittery. Okay? And this is what they did to our country. You know what I'm saying? Two. Up. You know what I'm saying? And then we go 2.